Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to an all-new reaction and review. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going back to Japan, which this is probably like the fourth or fifth time I have done that. I believe actually that Japan's probably the second most popular country when it comes to films I've covered in this series, right behind the U.S. And tonight's film, you guys are actually probably looking up at the title there, and you have no clue what the hell is going to come from this. Well, tonight's film, I'm going to tell you everything I know about it prior to going in. It was directed by a man by the name of Minoru Kawasaki. I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. And this guy's known for making some really strange films. In fact, the film before this one that he did was called The Calamari Wrestler, which was about a squid entering the world of professional wrestling. This film is called Executive Koala, and it is about a koala entering the business world. And apparently there's a little bit of psychological thriller and black horror, dark horror elements or dark comedy elements in this thing. I have no idea what the hell that means. In fact, I'm actually looking at the DVD cover. If anybody's curious, you can go onto the IMDb page for this thing and just do a search for Executive Koala, and that DVD cover is going to stare at you. And that is what our main character looks like. And those eyes are creepy as hell. So, I get to stare at that for the next hour and 25 minutes. I have no idea if this film's going to be any good. I have high hopes, though, because, well, goddammit, the last three things I've covered on this series, roughly, have been just absolutely unfucking watchable. So, I'm hoping. Actually, it might even have been like the last 4 episodes. I have no memory of what the fuck I've been watching recently. I don't have a very good memory of exactly what I've covered in the past, and I'm too lazy to go and look it up right now. So, I guess I actually should stop. I guess I should stop stalling and just get right into this thing. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Executive Koala. So this psychological thriller dark comedy has an opening that looks like a kid's show. I mean like a kid's show is in like for like preschoolers. Somehow this actually is creepier than anything I could have ever fucking imagined, guys. And this song just... There is just something about this song that just seems a little off to me. Okay, I just want to say this right now. I find it a little bit strange that there is a boardroom full of businessmen, and none of them find it at all strange that there is a 6-foot-tall koala in a business suit shooting them a business proposal. I'm going to tell you right now, I certainly would be freaked out if I actually saw something a lot like that, man. Just, wow. You know, I actually would like to say this right now. I believe that the puppeteering effects on this fucking koala head are fantastic. I actually would just sort of like to mention that, because this way then I don't have to mention it every single time he blinks or he opens his mouth. It's really awesome looking stuff, guys. So now we have a 6-foot-tall rabbit in a business suit, and that rabbit mask rivals the one in Donnie Darko for creepiness. Just thought I'd mention that. Wait a moment. So we have a 6-foot-tall koala who is shocked that there's a guy from Korea who has a pet flying squirrel. You're a goddamn koala in a business suit. You're in no position to judge. And that flying squirrel, even though it's a rather ugly-looking puppet, it's still a little bit believable in a bizarro sort of way. Wow, folks, it honestly is not normal for somebody to have fucking hallucinations that actually attack them. And this film's getting just a little bit creepy. Or I should say creepier, than the premise should fucking allow. Wow. Oh, okay. So, did he just dream killing all of those people? I have no fucking clue. It was definitely cool, though. Wow, we get a musical number in, this. This movie's fucking fantastic, man. It literally just gives you everything. So hang on a minute. So for murdering 4 people, the koala in Japan gets sentenced to Alcatraz. Okay, sure. Wait a minute. What? The fuck's going on here? Guys, it actually is a good sign when a film hits you with a twist like this. This actually is rather interesting. What the fuck kind of ending was that? Wow, I'm a little bit speechless, guys. Last 10 minutes or so of this film kinda sucked. Really, if I had to pick any kind of a negative for this movie, I'm just gonna shut that off right now. If I had to pick out any sort of like an actual negative, it would be that the last 10 minutes really sucks. It's basically a really interesting twist, and then there's a 10-minute fight scene, which actually is funny at times, and I should say that it is intentionally funny, and it is. But overall the fight scene just goes on way too long, and then the ending sort of tacked on, feels really rushed. However, though, I am not going to let that deter me from actually recommending this film. I should mention that everyone who said that this thing was a psychological thriller and a dark comedy, they hit it right on the fucking head. And I cannot believe that somebody was able to take those two genres and blend them so well, because there actually are scenes where this film is really fucking with your head. And I mean, they do it in a spectacular fashion. And then there are times where the humor is really corny, other times the humor can be really dark. Example, there are a handful of cases where they actually use death for comedy, and that's usually a really good sign that you are looking at a dark horror, black horror film, and it nailed it. It was great. The writing, again, now this actually is minus the ending. The writing is just fantastic. The writing is really sharp. The writing is really tight. The pacing is perfect. This is the kind of movie I think everyone should see, because all right, the film has a little bit of blood, but it honestly doesn't have a whole lot. If we are talking about like foul language, there is none. We're talking about nudity, there is none. This thing would be almost perfect for kids if it wasn't for the blood. I would almost say that this would be a really good family film, if not for the like large splatters of blood that would splash against walls. Beyond that, I really do think that this is something that everyone from maybe like the age of like 13 up would love. It is corny, it's weird, and it loves to fuck with your head. This right here is the sort of film where I am probably going to have to watch it another 2 times before everything totally sinks in. Which means that it's similar to Perfect Blue and Donnie Darko and Pulp Fiction, where it gets better after multiple viewings, where you just watch it again and again and again, and more stuff sinks in because you are now looking for more details. This film was great. I'm going to say this, guys, right now. If you actually go onto Amazon, I believe you can buy a copy of Executive Koala there. I highly recommend it. This honestly was a movie. I had no idea what the hell it was going to be, because the only things I had seen were a handful of screenshots where I saw a 6-foot tall koala in a fucking business suit interacting with people, or interacting with a 6-foot frog in cashier's uniform from what is essentially a drugstore or a 7-Eleven kind of a thing. So I had no clue. Oh, and I should mention, throughout the entire film, only one person actually seems a little bit shocked to see a giant koala and a giant frog. One person out of the entire cast just stops and goes, wait a minute, giant koala, giant frog, what the hell? And it basically is just a throwaway joke, which is, kind of funny. Really, guys, I don't know what else to say. I seriously, like I said, I had no clue if this movie was going to be good or bad, and so I actually had my expectations a little bit low. This thing cleared far above any fucking expectations I could have set for it. This is quite possibly one of the best films I've seen in reaction and review, which means that it actually is amongst such great films as Meet the Feebles and Cannibal Holocaust, amongst just the best that I have seen in this series. It's funny, it's witty, it's cool, it's creepy, and it does something I never thought a film would be able to do. It basically is able to creep you out and have you smiling at the same time, because it is actually able to perfectly blend psychological shit and comedy in the exact same scene, and it works. This movie was able to do things I didn't think films could ever do. So yeah, guys, if you actually can find a copy of this film anywhere, I highly recommend checking it out. Honestly, I do not know if the fucking DVD is dubbed or not, because I actually know that there are some people who just don't like subtitles. So I'm going to warn you now. I don't know if this thing was ever dubbed into English, and if it wasn't, then you're going to have to deal with the subtitles. And if you are able to clear that hurdle, and if you understand that the ending is complete shit, you are going to love this film. If I honestly were giving these things a rating out of, let's say, like 10, I'd probably give it a fucking 8, and that is just because the ending kind of knocks off a couple of stars. I really have nothing else to say, guys. I am just floored. This movie was just great. So I am just going to stop babbling, and I'm just going to let you guys go out and try to find a copy. So, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.